Car's in here. I'm going to start with getting the car jacked up, and then I'm going to start prepping the engine to get pulled out of this thing. Alrighty. So, got some things disconnected. Got the battery out, the intake out, got the throttle cables disconnected. I've got a couple of the grounds taking off the engine. I just got the starter out. Obviously the intercooler's out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain the coolant so that I can get the what the heck is it called? Heater core lines. There it is. Heater core lines off. I'm going to be leaving the tranny in the car. Alright. So, gonna drain the coolant right now, and then we'll move on. Just me and Ruckus. So, got the coolant drained, and I got the radiator out. So now you can see the front of the engine pretty well. If I haven't explained why I'm doing this, the reason I'm pulling the engine from this car is because there's oil in the bell housing. So, pretty sure it's not the rear main because I did the rear main. There's some other kind of seals behind. I forget what they're called specifically, but pretty sure that oil's coming from there. You need to do the spark plugs. Got to do the valve cover gaskets, water pump and timing belt kit. I'm gonna do that. Those are the main things that I'm gonna be doing. And then underneath, I'm gonna be doing whole new exhaust. Like I said, front axles, rear axles, and front wheel hubs, and whatnot. I got the wheels off. As you can see, I'm gonna get the rear wheels off eventually, but my main objective right now is getting this engine out of the car. So we got the front end clear so that we can pull the engine forward from the tranny. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna have to disconnect the wiring harness on this side and a couple other things. I'm gonna get the AC compressor off and then get that moved over to the side. I'm not sure if I want to take the power steering pump and move it over to the side or disconnect these lines. This line has brackets holding it to the engine that goes to the steering rack, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. But we're gonna get to it. We're gonna keep moving. They're nice and hot. Alrighty, so I've done some stuff. I got all this disconnected. I've got the power steering pump disconnected. I've got the AC compressor moved out of the way. I have these fuel lines. I have the fuel lines disconnected, some of the vacuum lines. I've got the turbo, the downpipe disconnected. I've got and now what I'm doing, I've got all the bell housing bolts out. Now what I'm doing is I'm trying to pull the pin out. You can see where the bolt, the little bolt right there is in the pin. I'm trying to pull it out. I'm trying to pull that out just to separate the train and the engine, but it's being a pain. It's being a real pain. Excuse me. It's being a pain in the arse. So, yeah. I'm gonna keep at it, and once that's out, then it's just making sure everything's disconnected, getting my cherry picker over here, getting the engine hooked up, loosening the bottom engine mounts, and pulling this thing out. Alright, so as you can see in that hole right there, is where the clutch fork clutch fork pin. So basically you just find a bolt. You can use an intake. You can use the intake manifold bolt if you need to. Put it in, get some pliers on it, and pull it on out. And that'll disconnect your clutch fork. Alrighty. It's one more bell housing bolt, and then just making sure everything's good. Lower engine bolt nuts, engine mount nuts, and then this thing is coming out. Alrighty, so it's ready to get yanked out. I gotta go to Harbor Freight because I have to get an engine hoist tilt bar or leveling bar, just because it's gonna allow me to tilt the engine forward or aft, to get the engine mounts out, but also get it off. But also get it off the train. So gotta go to Harbor Freight to get one of those. You'll see what it looks like when it's on there. That way I can get the engine out and on the engine stand. Alrighty, quick trip to Harbor Freight, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, so the engine is out, and boy oh boy, do we have a mess. There is loads of oil in the bell housing, all over the cross member, everywhere, along with pretty much all over the flywheel and clutch. So, I'm going to get this thing put on the stand. Well, actually before that, I'm going to take the flywheel and clutch off.